My idea is to teach you right here before you even head out there, give you the experience and skills that I gained over the years to hopefully save you guys some time and money, to have a better experience on your first hunt out there.
Welcome to episode 18 of the HuntXP Podcast. 18, Johnny. We just keep stacking them. It's great.
That's how numbers work. That's how numbers work.
They just keep going up. Yep. It's awesome. I swear we're going to have more insightful things to offer you in tonight's podcast. I swear. Hey, we got a fun one. Jonny and I are here, and we get to talk about Western big game tonight, man. I'm stoked. Other than our Joe Jones episode, which was wild, long, some amazing stories. That guy was awesome. But we get to dive back into it and talk to Tyler Berhow, who guides, trains people to be out west. So we're going to talk about Western big game, which you have some significant experience with. So I'm excited. Yeah. Both with the physical fitness and with the Western hunting. So I'm excited I'm kind of excited to be the dad bod guy here and just ask pedestrian questions about physical fitness with some two guys who know a lot about what they're talking about. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. I'm excited to hear his perspective on how he trains for that, how he would suggest training. And a lot of it, I think, is dependent on where you're going, but a lot of the principles I imagine would stay the same. So I'm excited to hear from him.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's a wild card for us. Never met him before. Interacted online a little bit. He's based in Minnesota, where I'm based. So we've been just having the Minnesota guests. It's been fun. So let's do this, Jonny. We have been unveiling some products. That's the fun part of HuntXP. What we get to do, we get to interact with brands who are like, "Hey, try this stuff out." And so we got contacted by GuardPro, which is a trail camera, which I had not heard of before. So I was like, sweet, what is this? And they're like, we would love to send you a camera and we would love for you to test it out. So we received that camera. It's a cell cam, takes pictures, video, and then they sent a solar panel with it as well. By the time this will out, I'll have my unboxing video out if you want to check it out in more detail. That I very quickly said, Jonny, do something with this. I sent it up to him and he put it on his property. So what do you think, Jonny? What are your first impressions of the GuardPro?
So I put it on my food plot and I put it out in an area that regularly this time of year, or when the snow melts, which is happening right now, the turkeys love to strut there. They love to come through there. They love to fly off their roost and pitch in there. So I'm really excited about some of the videos and pictures I think we'll get the next few weeks. But right now, there's been deer on it a lot. Picture quality has been good. Video quality is a little bit choppy, but they're nice videos. And I guess
Can I explain why?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
I figured this out. So we're going in blind here. We really don't know a lot about this camera. Yeah. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, this is kind of choppy. But how it works, and I'm still figuring this out, is like it'll send you kind of like GIF or GIF. Do you say GIF or GIF? What do you say? This is the definitive answer to that question.
Honestly, I steer clear of that conversation.
Is a hot dog a sandwich, Jonny? Is it? Yeah, so it comes to you in kind of chunks like that because you have the option to do an HD download.
Yes.
Which when you have a data plan, which they're going to hook us up with, haven't yet, but will, then you'll be able to do that. And I kind of like that feature because in other trail cams that I've used before, you use up a lot of data or a lot of photos. So I think the design and intent is like you get a glimpse at this without fully committing to that particular video.
That makes a whole lot of sense. I will say this, the solar panel is large, but they give you all the mounting gear. There's a long cord. I told JD jokingly earlier, I'm like, I feel like I could put this like 20 feet up in a tree, the solar panel, get it to the canopy so it receives the most amount of sun. But
maybe you're supposed to. Maybe you're supposed to climb that thing right up to the top of the tree.
Here's the cool thing. I noticed when I put the camera on, turned it on, the battery was 63%.
Yeah.
Now it's been out for like 2 days now, and it's been sunny, and like camera's at 100% battery, which that is awesome because some of the cell cams I use, that's one of the biggest things is battery life goes fast. And this one is at 100% battery, and it was previously at 60. So I'm kind of impressed with that.
Yeah. That's what I mean, the other features are cool, but that's what I'm most excited about because my cell cams, particularly in low service areas, just like tank in battery real fast. So even if you have spotty service, it's like, so the solar panel is quite a value add.
And I would say that area that it's in right now is relatively spotty with service. It's not like awesome, but it's doing really good. And I think the app is really easy to use. So I don't know. I would say overall, I'm pretty impressed with it after a few days. We'll see how it continues to go.
There you go. GuardPro, check them out if you haven't. We'll have links below or in the show notes of this. Use those links. I think you can get a discount even if you're interested in buying one from our links. If you use those, helps us out a bit. And we're using the XP Pro is the version that we have. We have a lot of different versions from battery powered, SD cards to internal stuff. Bunch of different options for you. So check them out if you're in the market for a trail cam.
I'll say one more thing about it too. A lot of people use trail cams for home security, and it has all the mounting gear to mount it to like the side of your house or a garage or something like that. It's not, there's a tree spike that I really like that it comes with for the solar panel or the camera. There's 2 tree spikes. But there's also mounting gear to mount it to the side of a house or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the origin of the company. I think they started in the security space, thus the Guard. Maybe I'm inferring that, and then are getting into the trail cam space a little bit. I also saw it has a feature of live stream. So we're going to test that out. Maybe we'll just live stream Jonny's backyard,
Might as well.
No, we won't do that. Well,
if I'm going to be hunting out there, you should live stream it.
But definitely with your odds last season, having only hunted like 2 hours and getting $2, I feel like that's going to be a fantastic live stream if you keep those odds up. So, all right, man. Well, anything else on your mind before we jump over to Tyler? Anything else you're thinking about doing right now?
Yeah. So I'm repping my Tethered shirt tonight. You got your hat on.
Heyo. Yeah.
So
appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, I got the M2 turkey vest and I built it the other night. Yeah. And we can go over that some other time, but wow, like highly, highly versatile. Like you can do so much with it. I had no idea all the things you can do and all the attachments and like where you can place them, like depending on what hand you are, all these things. I'm super impressed and I can't wait to field test it. But just even putting it together and putting it on, it's like extremely lightweight, extremely comfortable, extremely versatile. I'm just super impressed with that product.
So how did you situate it? I'm curious. I mean, you probably didn't anticipate having to do some strategy as you were putting it together, but
I didn't really. And I actually watched the Tethered video that they shot with Aaron Warbroughton from the Hunting Public on how he set his up. And I didn't set mine up exactly the same, but I got the gist of how to do it. And again, super easy. And you can definitely take it and you could do it in the field. You could maneuver it in the field if something wasn't how you wanted it. But basically, I took like the yoke and I attached it to the belt. The belt is super comfortable around the waist. And then there's these really nice like gear pockets that fit on the side. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what I like about them is this isn't maybe going to make a ton of sense, but they're like soft exterior, but kind of rigid. So they're not like a pocket that's going to just like flop open. They like hold their shape really well.
That's so important. Yeah.
Yeah. And inside them, there's Velcro and all the attachments are like Velcro. Like there's like ammo holders, Velcro that inside there. There's a pot call holder, Velcro inside there. I use diaphragm calls primarily. and I put them right here on the yoke, like right on the strap.
There you
And
go.
those, there's no Velcro there, but they have this dog bone clip that I think is a patent of theirs. And I put it on there, and you can fit 2 cases, the plastic cases that the diaphragm calls come in. You can fit 2 of them right there and pop them right out. And it's got a magnetic top, so it makes no noise when you open it. It's not like a Velcro or a zipper. It's
freaking
really
brilliant.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome. So I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that, because what I ended up doing, because my turkey vest did not have a good solution for that, my current one, I ended up buying just a lanyard with like a leather pouch with holes in it, because I wanted it actually close right here, and I didn't want to be fiddling around on the side. So I like that you did that. That's a pro tip. So when I get my hands on it, I'm gonna do the same thing. So,
Yeah, for sure. But I like it. So you could totally hand the vest off, like I think you and I are gonna do. You could hand it off, and you can really quickly manipulate it how you want it. And then if you were to hand it off to someone else, they can do the same thing. So it's awesome.
it's great. Don't prank me and like mess everything up, though. Don't do that.
Well, we'll see.
Now that I said it.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see about it. Good, man. Well, let's start talking Western hunting. I'm excited to talk with Tyler, figure out who this guy is. A lot of enthusiasm, really cool what he's got going on. So excited to hear from him. Let's bring him on the pod.
Let's do it. Dude, Tyler, nice to meet you, man.
Well, great to get on with you guys and meet you finally.
Give us the basics.
I grew up in St. Michael area, graduated from there, and then got a degree in marketing and tried my hand at a couple of different marketing jobs. Didn't quite work out, and then eventually found my way into being a hunting guide in Colorado because my dad hunted at an outfitter there and happened to be just 4 years ago, and this would be my 5th season. So yeah, during that year, they reached out and were like, hey, we're shorthanded. I know you got a bunch of experience hunting elk, various states out west, and we could use another guide if you're willing to come out. And it just crazy how it worked out. I was down in the dumps. I had actually just got let go from a job, and I was searching for jobs. And that's the week after is when I got this call to guide.
Nice.
And like, oh wow, maybe this is something here. Anyways, I was able to get out on a couple of hunts that year and for what they needed. And then they were like, hey, would you want to come back and do this some more? And I was like, oh, absolutely. Have me. So, been guiding since then, hunted a bunch, got my kickstart around here. My dad teach me in the Whitetail Woods in Minnesota, up near Black Duck area in the swamplands, flatlands. And yeah, just super into hunting. And so I started Big Game Trained as I got more into guiding, and people were always asking me, I felt like I was at this point too, or maybe you guys were when you started dabbling a little bit out west. Like, how do you get started? How do you get a tag? My friends and family were asking me. And so what gear do you need? And then I'm like, you know what? I think there's a idea here. Why don't I teach people here in Minnesota or the Midwest how to do it before they even head out west to start walking around without a clue how to get after some elk. So that's what I'm doing with Big Game Trained, getting us started here, hoping to run some of these camps and teach people and then hopefully get some better content online. But I mean, I'll be honest, it's been tough the last month being a new dad.
Congrats, man. Yeah.
Congrats, man.
It is actually 7 weeks today.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Yep. That's been taking most of my time. So
No,
we get it.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. How are you awake right now?
Yeah, we each have 3 kids, so we certainly understand.
Tyler, that's awesome, man. That sounds fantastic. We're excited to ask more questions about it. But probably the first question I have is that thing alive in front of you, or is that stuffed?
It's
there
moving.
it moves. Let me show you.
Yeah. That's Bear. If you're listening online, he's got a cat about the size of a bobcat that he's holding up. Who has
he is about 18 pounds.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I use him for working out sometimes.
Perfect.
Nice. Good warm up kettlebell for you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man. Well, that's cool that you got. So give us a little, where was your first elk hunt or your first Western hunt? And where did you kind of get hooked on Western hunting? You said your dad introduced you to it, but what was the experience that moved you from this is my dad's thing to like, I want this to be my thing?
I'll say right from the get-go, my first elk hunt I was just in middle school yet, and I was actually still, I feel like, learning how to bow hunt here. I never even got a whitetail yet, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come elk hunting with me?" To me and my brother, and we're like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And we're just hearing him talk about it, and it's like, "Oh, it's gonna be in the mountains, it's gonna be tough hiking around." And I'm thinking, "Oh, I can do all that." And so he got us a drop camp because he has a bit of experience out there. And it's me, my brother, my dad, and my dad was taking us out to all these spots he knows. And it was just a roller coaster of everything going on. First night, get there, we're hearing bugles at night and getting excited and like, okay, we're going to hike up this mountain and start making some calls. And just each day was just awesome. Getting into some elk action. I just had a cow tag myself because this outfitter we went with, if you had a paid adult, you could go for free as a youth with a cow tag.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. So getting into some spots and seeing some bulls and cows and calves, and nothing was coming in close enough for me as far as cow action. But I got to watch my dad and brother like draw back on some bulls. They even shot one time they shot a branch, and another time they shot right over the back. But the whole week was jam packed with action, and man, I loved it. And so that time right there, I was like, man, I got to do this again. So it wasn't for a while that I was able to go out myself. So that wasn't until maybe 20, gosh, I was 20 something already because, you get school and trying to graduate sports. But since then I've been trying to get after it some more for sure.
So where do you primarily hunt now? What states and what, I'm assuming elk and mule deer, right?
Yep. So being a hunting guide, I love what I do, but also the trade-off is it takes away from my hunting time.
Yeah.
But I guide in Colorado, so I'll maybe sneak off for a hunt there. I've also hunted in Montana, Utah, New Mexico, or Wyoming with my dad. That was a cool hunt. He had 13 or 14 points to dump on that, and every corner you turn, you saw a 6-point bull. So then mule deer, yeah, all those states and North Dakota I won't talk about it too much because I've been lucky enough to get a tag the past 2 years. That's a sweet spot as well. I mean, I think that's Western hunting as well. A good introduction to it anyways.
Sure. A lot different than northern Wisconsin, Minnesota areas that we reside in.
Right. Sure. Our blind hunting or tree stand hunting.
Yeah.
It's trade-offs.
Yeah. I think nothing can prepare you. You talked about being in middle school, and I remember my dad would always be going out west elk hunting and always wanting to go, but for whatever reason, I had sports or other stuff going on. I couldn't make it. But the first time I actually did get to go, nothing can quite prepare you for that. In your mind, like you said, you're like, oh, I got this, whatever. But nothing can really prepare you for that if you've grown up hunting the way we do around here. On the terrain, the mental toughness that no one really talks about too much that goes along with that, to be able to stay mentally tough the whole day and the whole week or however long you're out there. But I'm imagining myself my first time out there. And again, nothing can prepare you for it until you do it.
Yeah, definitely agree. And now it's really cool when being able to guide, and I experience that with people almost like every other week. I guide a lot of first timers, and then they are going through all the emotions of, oh, man, this is tough. And then they're like, oh, I'm getting the hang of it. And then like, oh man, this week is really adding up and I don't know how much I can do. Yeah, it's tough physically, mentally, emotionally for some people. And yeah, not like we do it here.
Right.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about some of those things that are unexpected hangups for people that go out there first time. Like, what have you seen that are patterns that come up for first time hunters out west that if you could, talk to them 2 months before, you would say, work on this or be prepared for this?
Yeah. I've had a couple of buddies come out and go on a guided hunt with me. And so I got to talk to them a long time before they came out, which was awesome because I never had that before. And it was nice. They were asking me a bunch of questions, and things that led them to was obviously working out, being consistent, and just maybe in the things you work out too. Like a lot of the guys I feel like are doing the show type of workouts where they don't translate to mountain fitness maybe.
Right.
And also
Explain the difference there for us laymen.
Yeah, we
How
should
would
get
you
into
say
that,
that's
Tyler,
different?
because I think
Yeah.
this would be interesting for people to hear. You go first, Tyler. I'd love to hear what you say.
Well, let's see. Things I think about what I'm doing all day, like hiking, and I'm carrying around my pack of gear, which is, I guess, around maybe 20 some pounds of water. I got tripod, knives, game bags, etc., extra clothes. Anyways, and that, I mean, it's weird movements, jumping over rocks and logs. And so I focus on a lot of core and a lot of legs. Arms, I don't really care for. I mean, obviously, you got to have it to pull back your bow, but a lot of the lower body and core stuff, and also just general, I would say flexibility, mobility type stuff, knees and your ankles and hips, trying to work out all those things that just kind of basic, more dynamic movements is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, for mountain fitness.
Yep. And I think you hit everything I was going to say. And you mentioned mountain fitness versus like show muscles and things like that. And you're free to work out however you want, whatever makes you happy. But specifically, if you're planning to go out west and you're going to be in a very mountainous terrain, you need to be like functionally fit for what you're doing. And Tyler, I think you nailed it. Like when I've gone out there, first time I went out there, it was like, I just finished as a collegiate soccer player and I was in good shape, but it's like, you need to have a strong base. Your legs have to be fit. They have to be conditioned for hiking all day with a loaded pack. And then if you shoot something, a really loaded pack. But
Yeah.
I love that you said core. Your core has to be super strong. I focus a lot on that area before I go out always. And then the flexibility piece. I'm so glad you said that. Like mobility, flexibility around your joints, movement around your joints, because it's not like walking on a path all the time or a trail all the time. You're like climbing over deadfalls and your hip flexors are going to get super tired, things like that. And so you have to have an ounce of flexibility in you. You can't go out there and just be stiff and rigid. You have to be able to change and get quick footing. I even think a little bit of agility is not a bad thing, just so you can catch your footing if you happen to slip. So those are my thoughts on the matter.
Why is core so important?
Well, I'd say I think it helps keep everything together. If you have a loose, floppy core or it's just weak, I think your legs and stuff will feel it too. I think it helps balance you as you move. As you mentioned, being not on a nice trail, walking to a deer stand, but there's logs to go over or trees to go under and keep that balance with a, weighted pack on and everything else. I think that's huge.
It's definitely the chain between your upper and lower body. And then it's actually, I found a lot of times, like it's counteracting the weight that you're going to feel on your back. You're going to feel the weight on your back and you need to have a strong, stable core in order to make that, I guess, more bearable for the time that you're out there.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So you mentioned the emotional piece, and that seemed to be like, as you were saying that, you're like, that almost was surprising to you. Am I reading into that? Like,
yeah,
guys maybe being mentally, physically able, but then the emotional piece becomes a barrier. Say more about that.
I think that comes down to just missing comforts of home, of family, And then I mean, I get it because it happens to me too. But then I feel like you start to break down and get softer. Like, well, I'm doing this, but I could be, at home with my kid. I could be, in my tree stand at home, walking 200 yards to the stand and being done. And then you kind of start to play games with your head. Like, well, I'm just not feeling it. Like, I think I see it. And when we're trying to hunt hard, we need to get after an animal. Oh, well, maybe I'm thinking more mental as well. But yeah.
I'll hop in on that too. I think that it's having experienced it. And there's tons of different terrain out there. I also elk hunt in Colorado, Tyler, but it's the areas I'm at. It's not like what you see on TV a lot where you're going to like see an elk from way off and you're going to make a move on it. Where what I found to be most successful where I hunt is just moving all day, like constantly hiking and covering ground. That's specifically again for the area that I've hunted in, but it's really hard. And you can't explain it till you experience it to be like, man, I have to climb up this mountain, and you get to the top and you're like, I just have to keep going. Like you have to keep going if you want to be successful.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't,
I think
you
that's
can't
what
just
I was
stop.
trying to get to. People, I mean, having a more positive mindset helps you keep going.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it can happen so quick out there. You can be out of the game for days, literally. And then you crest our eyes and the whole herd is right there, so you have to just have that mentality of like, it can happen at any second. I've had elk run in on me. Like you're just hiking and all of a sudden something, for whatever reason, they're moving and they come running right in on you. Like it just can happen so fast out there, even though the land is so vast compared to what we're used to around here in the Midwest.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm curious, Tyler, if you got a story from your experiences, either guiding or hunting, that illustrates that pushing through those barriers, either mentally, physically, or emotionally, and then it paying off.
Let's see. I'll say there's a lot more of, unfortunately, the failures of people can't keep going. But maybe this one that happened last year was pretty cool. It was my first opportunity to guide a father-daughter, and it was pretty cool or meaningful to me too. Like, oh, I'm about to have a daughter. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Anyways, these two, I think she was just 15, and the dad had hunted a little bit out west and just really wanted to take his daughter out and try something. She was prepped, saying from dad, like, oh, this is going to be tough and you need to, keep up. We're doing this hunt. And you, as a guide, you kind of just set the tone or pace of what they can do. You walk a little bit and you're like looking like, okay, this is about what we need to do. We need to slow down. Something like that. And it had snowed pretty good when they got in. And so makes traveling even tougher, as you know, and then start breathing heavy. And it's like, okay, I can't do it. I can't do it. And this was just the end of day one. And to me, I'm thinking, we didn't do that bad of a hike or anything, but I'm like, okay, this is where they're at. I don't want to burn them on day one. We got a lot more hunting to do. So, and day 2 and 3, and we just continued to plug along, and we weren't really seeing too much. So that's another thing that plays on your emotions. It's like, oh man, how are we going to do this for them? And I just want to give them a good experience and hunt. And they start saying like, well, I don't know. Should we go up there? Is there going to be any elk up there? But yeah, she, maybe broke down a few times and was crying, and me and dad had to try to lift her up and say, hey, we're have that positive mindset. This is a spot we usually see elk at this time of year and stuff like that to keep them going. And there's just one time we had one of my buddies was spotting for us, and he's like, hey, the cows are just above you. And so this girl just had a cow tag, by the way. And so I'm like, hey, come on, we got to push it right here. And I just busted up the mountain to get to the spot just so they could see how far they needed to get to. I'm like, all right, just right here, close it 100 yards. But they needed to do it in a short amount of time, which, I'm thinking that was doable, but obviously I realized it was not. And this is getting to be morning, day 4. So it's only a 5-day hunt, or yeah. And then, they're thinking, okay, we just want to get an elk at this point. So we pick another spot that was similar to where those cows were. And all of a sudden we start peeking through the trees and we see some coming out, and it's almost getting to last light. And these guys were excited and they wanted to take a difficult shot. And as their first one, I just didn't want to do that to them. Like, hey, if you don't want your first one to be a bad shot. And so I'm just trying to pump them up and also, settle them down at the same time. Like, okay, this could happen here. We got to wait for these trees. This breaking the trees here. And anyways, Dad was kind of barking at me a little bit. Like, should we move up? Should we shoot them? Should we do this or that? Like, we just got to have patience here. And this young girl, she was just very poised. And she was like, hey, I'm just going to listen to you, and let's pick out the right cow. And then all of a sudden this perfect one walked out. She made just a great shot and dropped this cow and went 15 yards. And I knew it went down, but I don't think they did. So we hike up there and she's like, oh, are we going to see any blood up here? Is there anything? And we get there. And I'm like, well, hopefully it's up here. And I can see it just behind the other logs over there. And like, well, I don't know. What do you think? And, she finally gets up there. It's like, I think it looks like it's headed this way. And it's literally 10 yards away. And then she sees it. And both just the girl and Dad broke down crying. So it was a good, hard hunt and ended up in a good harvest there.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that is cool.
How does that feel as a guide to facilitate that sort of moment for a father and daughter?
Man, I teared up a little bit. It was equally as rewarding for me just to have that all come together like that, and just share that moment with them and just seeing how they connected with each other. It's really cool.
Awesome, man. I want to hear more about Big Game Trained. So what's your vision for this thing, man? Obviously, I feel like I'm picking up you're seeing through your guiding experience and your conversations with Midwesterners like us, this gap between maybe their vision of what's possible and where they're at right now. And then you've got some cool ideas to help people fill that gap. So talk to us a little bit about how you could help people get ready.
Yeah. So like you said, in my experience, I've got a lot of people, friends and family in the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota, for those of you listening, and they want to know how to elk hunt or mule deer or just hunt anything out west. And, from where we are, we just go to the gas station, the sporting goods store, and say, hey, I want a deer tag. And you buy it. I want a turkey tag. You go buy it. Or, sometimes you got to draw those, but just not too familiar with the whole process of what it's like out there. It's different terrain. It's different everything. It's some different gear here and there. So my idea is to teach you right here before you even head out there, give you the experience and skills that I've gained over the years to hopefully save you guys some time and money, to have a better experience on your first hunt out there. So I have my idea for this summer. I'm launching some BGT elk camps, which are going to be 3-day, 3-night camps where I have the opportunity to, simulate. We'll set up some tents, kind of make it real, and we'll have a little archery range, and I'll go over things from start to finish. I call it the before, during, and after process of the hunt. So before, things like getting the tags, e-scouting, what gear you need, fitness training, all those things you think about before you even start it. And then during, things like how to set up shot scenarios, calling. We'll, work on that stuff during camp. I'm calling myself like an expert caller, but, just teaching you things about different bugles and cow calls and there's all these diaphragms, mouth calls, push buttons, etc. So we'll work on some of those, demonstrate, and get to try some things out. And then just some other skills that I use or tools that I use out in the field, gear. And then after, I think a lot of people, they're worried about like, okay, what if you get an elk 2 miles out in the mountain and what, like, then what?
What if you actually succeed?
Right.
What do you-
Can you drive your 4-wheeler there and pick it up?
you
And
just
do
hook
you
a
drag
rope
it
up to
out?
it and you drag it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no dragging out there in the mountains. So how to quarter, just going over that. I got some footage. I got a buddy that has some good footage, how to do the gutless method. That's what we use at camp, and get you quartered up and hanging, and then maybe talk about just meat care, getting it out, cooling it down, and maybe some cooking stuff like that to wrap up. So yeah, that's kind
I'm
of a
glad
flash on the camp.
Glad you brought up the what happens when you do, because I think I was fortunate. I went with my dad, and whenever we went, it was on public land, but I would be with my dad and my uncles and some cousins. So we had a larger crew out there, and we would we would hike in every day and hike out every day. Usually some nights we would stay on the mountain, but we've shot elk like over 7 miles back, which I'm sure you've experienced too. And the first elk I shot back there, I was like, well, now what? Now what do I do? And I radioed my dad, and he came, and I had never done the gutless method before. I had never quartered up an animal of that size. I had quartered up whitetail before, but I've never quartered up an animal of that size. And that's one thing too, just the sheer difference in size of those animals. I didn't know how to keep the meat clean. I didn't know what to do. And just some practical things of like, we like to bring a tarp out to do everything on the tarp just to keep it from hitting the ground. You might have a different method. I know you can use the hide as well, and we've done that before, but just things that you do not even think of. You're just out there in your mind like, I'm going to shoot this big old bull and it's going to be fantastic. And it is going to be fantastic, but you have to know what to do so that animal doesn't go to waste or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. It scares people, so I want to teach them that. And and maybe I'm starting with the elk camps. Ideally, I'd like to branch off and maybe do some mule deer stuff or black bear as well. Just kind of give you an introduction to all these things and send you on your way.
It's a great idea. A really good idea.
Good, man. Yeah. If you're interested, how do people find out about that? How do people get a hold of you?
So you can find me I'm on Instagram and Facebook, just at Big Game Trained. My website's biggametrained.com. So that's where all my content would be and ways to find me.
Nice.
I have a question about something too, real quick, JD, because we didn't touch on it yet. But so flatlanders like us, when we go out west, when we go, like myself, I've worked out for months before or whatever. Then when we still go out a couple days early, and we go out a couple days early because we go on what we call like acclimation walks just to get used to the altitude difference. Have you experienced people getting altitude sickness out there before?
Yeah. I think it happens every year. Okay. Myself too, I like to get out early for guiding to just acclimate. Mostly guys that I'm with out there live out there, so they're
sure,
that's just their lifestyle. But I need to do it myself as well. But some people, really hit some. You either got to just take it slow, or maybe you might have to take the day off. Otherwise, you try to push through it, and it will knock you out for a day or more.
Right.
So definitely.
I've
rest up.
Never experienced it myself, but I've had people in our camp that have experienced it, and man, it can be pretty nasty, and like vomiting and feeling really, really down and out. The person I'm thinking of described it like having the flu, and they were out for a day. And then the next day they were fine. But I think the thing that they've figured out is, for them, the first 2 days they just have to take it a little slower. Instead of going way back, they need to, just do a couple miles rather than double-digit miles that day or something like that. So going slow and steady rather than just getting after it, because you want to get after it. You're excited, you're out west and you're trying to get an elk, but just being safe. So we always go out a couple of days early just to try to acclimate, and we take longer walks, but we go slow, and it's helped us a lot.
Yeah, highly recommend that. And that reminds me of a story. A few years ago, uncle and nephew came out, and these guys, were just gung ho excited. But then that first night, I mean, they just got there, and I think the nephew, it hit him. And so he couldn't come out the first morning hunt. He stayed in camp, and okay, I'll just take the uncle out and see what happens. Kid you not, we take our horse ride up there, get to the spot. And at that time of year, I'm like, okay, right after we get off the horses, we only got to walk maybe 200 yards and it's already good. So we'll just do a couple cow calls and I'll have you set up just right here. And I'm going to just sit back and call. They usually come from just up to the east of us. And I do just like 3 cow calls, and all of a sudden a little bugle rips off and one comes charging in. And I look up and the guy is not where I told him to sit. He's just a little off to the side. And I'm just thinking, if I had both of them, I would have said, you here and you here. And we would have nailed that bull. Anyway, so that guy, when he sat where he didn't have an angle on the bull that came in. It wasn't a monster or anything. It was just a legal 4-point. And it came in to within 25 yards and just sat there, looked around, and then trotted off because we didn't have a shot. It was cool.
It's got to be so aggravating as a guide. Like, there he is. I've done my duty. I've done my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. On to the next one.
All right, you guys. So I've got this idea in my head, and we'll see if it works. But we're going to call it the newbie fire round from JD. So I'm going to fire off every question, not every question, but most questions that come to my mind as someone who's never hunted elk, as far west as I've been in South Dakota for mule deer. I'm just going to start firing questions, and you guys can take it. Whoever takes it, Jonny or Tyler, give me your 30-second answer to it. Okay? We'll make a game of it. Sound good?
Okay, sure.
This one's for Tyler. How much does this cost? A guided hunt to, let's say, Colorado.
I'll say $8,000 plus.
$8,000 plus. Bottoms, $8,000. Got it. Would you recommend guided before solo public for someone? Guided first before solo public?
I would say depends. Maybe not every time. Maybe for older crowd, it could be easier to go guided and you kind of have some amenities and things like that. But maybe for a younger guy that wants to get into it more, I think you go DIY.
Nice. Another one for you, Tyler. What do you look out for in an outfitter to make sure you don't get screwed?
Maybe, obviously, reviews, if they got it, recent gallery maybe, and or just, well, I guess I'd go back to reviews or references if they have any references, or if they've been in business a long time, they got it usually good.
If they've been around for a while, they're usually good.
Been around for a while. I mean, the one I work with, their family business, they've been in for over 20 years or more, and I mean, they're just awesome guys.
Nice. For both of you, caliber that you bring out. What kind of rifle should I buy?
Man, Tyler does mostly archery, it sounds like. I've done primarily rifle. Actually, I've only done rifle out west. I use my 30-06. My dad uses a 300 Win Mag. I mean, shot placement is fine.
I got a 300 short mag. I just kind of use it as my everything rifle. I'd feel confident. Deer, elk, bear.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of scopes are you running on those? Do they need to be super high powered or what kind of scope is minimum for out there?
Trying to think. I got maybe.
Yeah.
I guess I don't like to make a super long shot. I feel like it takes away some of the hunt. So within 400 yards, most scopes will get you there.
Yeah, I just have a Bushnell scope on mine. It's similar power, but the longest shot I've taken out there is 150 yards. So
yeah, you get a lot of that too.
Nice. What gear do most guys think they need, or gals, but they don't actually need it.
So are we talking DIY or guided? Because guided, Tyler's got you.
Let's do both. Yeah. Yes. Right.
Think they need, but don't need.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just, one that comes to mind right away is a super high powered headlight. A lot of guys are so excited to come out there and put on their 2000 lumen headlight, and they're walking behind me, so it just casts all these shadows,
and you can see them for miles.
Like, okay, we just don't need that much light, because when I go out there, I try to use no light or like the lowest beam possible, just to see a little bit.
Yeah, I would say the time and the place for the really high powered light, and I don't bring a really high powered light out there either, but the time and the place would be on your pack out at night when you have a weighted pack. That's when that light comes in handy, so you can see every step you're going to take.
I will agree on that part.
Yeah. I think again, it depends if you're camping out or if you're not. Like we stay at we rent a condo or an Airbnb or something, and then we drive back and forth to where we hunt every day. But the first time I went, I had way too much stuff in my pack. There are things that are necessary, right? Like I always suggest having an extra pair of dry socks for sure and that stuff. But I had way too many clothes in my pack. And my first year, the first few days, I was like, man, it's ridiculous. I don't use any of this stuff. So then I started taking stuff out, and now my pack doesn't have a lot in it. All the necessary survival gear for sure, and the things that you need. But yeah, I don't bring a whole lot. One thing that I don't personally use, but some of the guys I hunt with swear by it, is they bring lightweight trekking poles, especially for the pack out, just to help them stay more stable. As long as they're lightweight telescoping trekking poles, you can put them in your gun scabbard and you won't even notice that they're there. So for some people, I would recommend bringing those.
Okay. So if you had to go top end for one piece of gear, like best in class in that piece of gear, what would you go for? What would you spring for high end?
Can I say two things?
No.
Okay.
No. No, you can't. You can't. That's fine.
I think your pack and your boots. Those are my two that I would spring for the higher end on personally.
What about you, Tyler?
Pull Jonny here and go two.
That's good. Thank you, Tyler.
Because I just splurged on a nice pack last year. Because I'm like, hey, I'm doing this for my job. I should get a nice pack. So that's because, you use it all day, every day. Two, I was initially thinking binoculars because I'm also using those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a really crappy pack that literally squeaks when I walk. It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
don't
a
want
Cabela's 400. I'm like through something.
Yeah,
it's
and
the worst.
Then
so
you
that's the first thing.
Keen in on that noise and all you're hearing as you're walking.
It's freaking horrible. Yeah, man.
I just know the pack was a big deal for me because the first year I went, I had an older frame pack, and it was like my dad shot an elk and I'm helping him pack out, and I'm like, this is miserable. And I got a nice pack. I got a nice Everly stock Dragonfly the next year, and the difference in carrying a weighted pack when it's a nice weighted pack is immense. Again, like Tyler said, you have it on all day, every day, and I'll even forget I'm wearing it. It becomes like a part of you because it's so much nicer. So if you have a nice pack, it makes a huge difference. And JD, you can borrow my pack next year if you need to in South Dakota.
Deal. I'll take you about it. Maybe that's why I didn't shoot a buck. It was just squeaking everywhere. Sure, they heard that.
Squeaking doesn't help. I know that.
It doesn't. No, that wasn't the problem. Okay. I had a question. Here it is. It's coming. Okay. So if I'm flying in, how do I get the meat back? How does that work with guided services or otherwise?
Yeah, we would have the ability to get together with a local butcher or something, chop it up and package it. Otherwise, depends where you go. Like, yeah, plan for getting some coolers, and then you can wrap them up. I don't know all the specific guidelines, but you'll have to freeze it and get it in safe package. But yeah, usually a butcher would probably know that as well.
So do a lot of guys take it to a local butcher and then the butchers have logistics where they ship it back to the person through mail service? Or are you saying that people check on freezers, basically, that they check on their flights?
Yeah, like luggage.
Yeah.
Basically doing it that way. And I've never done it. We've had some guys that come through camp and, they get one and I mean, they got to portion it out, bone it. That's the best way to do it. And then run it down to this local butcher, meat packager. This guy will do it. And, I mean, it just costs, extra costs, but that's what you got to do if you're flying. So maybe I don't have hands-on experience.
And I would say a larger question too, JD, is like, even if you're not, like you're traveling, like even if you're driving from Wisconsin out to Colorado, it's a 20-some hour drive. So what we do is, like Tyler said, we have a local butcher there that we work with, and we bring him the meat in game bags and stuff, and he processes it and packages it and freezes it while we're out. And then on the last day, we go and pick it up, and we basically take our big coolers, line them with dry ice, and then we throw all the meat in there, and then we duct tape all the seams and everything and throw them in the back of our truck, and then we drive it straight. Like on the way out, we usually it's a 2-day trip for us, but on the way back, we drive it straight. And what you'll see in other places, and we see this all the time actually on the interstate, is people will have in the back of their truck, or they'll have a trailer and they'll be pulling a chest freezer with them. So they'll bring a chest freezer out there, and then they'll hook it up to a generator or run it off their truck or our battery or whatever. And they'll have that chest freezer with them the whole time to make sure their meat gets frozen.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more guys do that now, come out and they got their freezer hooked up and generator in the trailer ready to go if they get one down.
Got it. Out west, faster arrow or heavier arrow?
I love seeing a client with a heavier arrow. They're big animals, and we've had, I will say, in our experience, the more animals that have not been recovered have been lighter setups.
A lighter arrow.
Yeah, the faster, lighter arrow has led to less recovered animals. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, good. Tyler and Jonny, I have never been further west than South Dakota. Where do you recommend I start? If I decide today I'm going for an elk, where do you recommend I start? What state do I go for? Where do I start? Other than convincing Jonny to take me with him next time, just so I can observe. Just kidding.
I guess I don't have an answer then. That would have been my number one. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, you should take me. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado, that's a great starter option. Obviously, good herd size in Colorado. I think Montana is another great spot to start. Those would be my top two. Otherwise, Utah, you can still grab over the counter. Idaho, I know some people that drive there to buy tags, so they make sure they get them. Otherwise, it's hard to get one online. That's what I'd recommend. What about you, John?
Yeah, I would say I only have experience in Colorado, just to be clear. Okay. I'm not an expert elk hunter. I've shot elk, and I've gone plenty, but I would say wherever you can buy one over the counter, where you don't have to save up points and apply. Now, the flip side of that is there are units in other states where if you save up points and apply, your odds of success are higher. Correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Tyler, but because I just know to be fully honest, if you go DIY public land in Colorado, I think odds are 1 in 10 that you're going to harvest. And
very low odds of success. And there's a lot of people out there, unless, somehow you just end up, I'm going to go here. There's no one here. And you end up finding some elk. But I've been in areas of Montana where it's also just general units and hunted there all week and only saw one other guy. So I think you can still find spots like that. even if there is areas with more people, just find your little nook and maybe someone will push some to you or have a good day. I don't know.
I think for us too, it's are you willing? And this is the mental toughness part and the fitness part as well. Are you willing to push a little bit further than the other people that you might see at the parking lot? Are you willing to go an extra few miles? So our strategy was always, there's people that would be guiding on public land and they'd be way back with horses, like way back. There'd be people that are going to at maximum go 2 miles from the parking lot. So our sweet spot would be, let's get right in between them, those two groups. So that's somewhere between 7 to 10 miles. And if you're willing to do it, we've been fortunate to have some success out there.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy.
Well, Tyler, this has been a blast, man. Anything else you want to say about big game trained or anything that you were thinking about that didn't get the opportunity to share with us?
Well, I think we covered a lot of things. This has been awesome being on the podcast here, meeting you guys. But yeah, I'm just excited to get big game train going, start training some of us Midwesterners how to be not lazy tree stand blind hunters. I know there's a lot of work that goes into whitetail hunting, but it's just different.
It's way different. I want to say thank you for all your knowledge and sharing that. I think what you're doing is great. I think big game train sounds like a great idea. And if someone is listening and is like, I really do want to give this a try, but I'm not sure where to start, man, get a hold of Tyler. And also thank you for having your cat join us for the whole time. That was incredible.
Yeah, thanks. Bear.
I'm surprised how chill Bear has been here, but yeah, he's happy to be on the pod as well.
Good stuff, dude. Thank you, Tyler. Great to have you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Dude, that was fun, Tyler. Thank you.
It's a wrap. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good.
And did you happen to hear the baby cry?
I did.
Nope.
I did one time, like just now, right? Like just now?
Just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So must have been waking up and getting hungry again.
Are you going to be at the Minnesota Deer and Turkey Expo?
Yep. Yeah.
Sweet. I'll come by and say hi. I'll probably be there Saturday. I'll try to find you.
Okay.
Did you say you're going to have a booth?
Yep. I will have a booth right across from the big deer wall.
Sweet.
Nice. So I'm
Never been. I said early in the podcast that my goal is to meet someone who's familiar with HuntXP, and it might be you. So I can accomplish that.
Well, yeah. I saw. I'll go back. I saw. I'm following the hunting pages, community pages, and I saw this and like, oh, what is this? What is this? I like to research things, and so I saw it, and then like, this looks pretty new. Like, sweet, this is like local guys.
Yeah.
So I was jacked, man, and
good. Good. Well, let's stay in touch, man. If there's any other points of collaboration that come up for you or any ideas you have, you got my number now. Just reach out. Let's hang out. If you want to do some whitetail hunting come fall, you're probably not around, but if you find yourself around, just give me a holler if you want to go out.
Yeah, will do.
Fun. Behind the scenes bonus banter. All right, Dave. That's what you call shooting from the hip right there. That's what that is.
The GuardPro camera just sent me a video.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a deer, but yeah. I was like, I wonder how many times it's going to send a video during this.
It's so much, man. I changed the frequency, was like a minute between takes. Yeah. And so I changed it to 3 or 4 or something because I'm like, we're getting a bazillion of these videos. So.
Right. I can't believe we filmed 18. This is our 18th one. This is wild. That's like a pretty big number.
It is. And then I find podcasts that are like 506. And I'm like, wow. Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's big for us, man.
Starting in October or whatever. Was it October?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. We got a 3-episode runway and I think we went live in November. Like week we weren't live.
Oh yeah. That's right. You know what they say though? You can't film 500 podcasts without first hitting 18.
That's what they say.
Oh,
I like that.
You're at the end of the last one. You put out the banter at the end. It was so stupid. I loved it.
Okay, I'm glad you loved it. If
No,
you
yeah,
ever don't love it,
no,
you
it
confront me
was
on it. But
no,
yeah.
it was totally fine. I thought it was funny. I was listening to it. I was driving home from work and I was listening to it, and I was like, "Oh, that's the end of the episode." And all of a sudden, it was like bonus banter, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And it was so ridiculous.
I'm waiting for someone who's not us to comment on it because I think it's really funny, but who knows if other people do. So I don't know. Just kind of like, I'm just trying to experiment with things that are a little bit different and ridiculous just to see
right.
what resonates.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I forgot to do the shout outs.
That's okay. You could do it at the end if you really wanted to.
If I really want to. I made the short of when he was talking about meeting those guys in camp, and I found this random, like, goofy photo of the THP crew, and I threw it in there. It's hilarious.
Nice.
It's just a goofy photo of them in camp.
Nice. That was really cool to talk to him. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, he's cool. We've texted quite a bit after the fact.
He told me,
seems like he'd be really fun to hunt with, too.
I sent him, I was following kind of his Instagram stories in Florida, and there was one where a gator walks across the road, and I was like, I told you, like, we told you to watch out. And he's like, they're everywhere. And he's like, we've covered like 500 miles in 5 days, and we have not heard a single gobble. I'm like, or no, 50 miles in 5 days. Like, and they haven't heard a single gobble yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. What? Yeah, I know people go to Florida like right away to hunt Osceolas because it's before all the other seasons. But I'm curious if that means that they're not really that active yet, or what their timing is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Breeding in Florida, because I know people go to try to do the Grand Slam. They go chase them in March, but I don't know if that's actually a good time for that. And here we are.
Has he said anything back to you, Tyler?
No, like, okay, so
am I here?
I hear you somewhere. I can hear Tyler or heard someone. Cannot see you, but I can hear you.
I don't see him.
What?
You're like in the void right now.
No,
we don't got it. I don't think we have anyone in though.
I can hear him.
Seriously?
You guys are here. I see you and hear you.
Just somewhere in the ether of our podcast.
He can see us and hear me or hear you too, but I can hear him.
What?
Right.
Weird.
So strange. Is there any notification produced?
There you are. That looks great.
Hey,
Ew.
Can you hear me as well?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll just look about center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it.
Okay. Nobody do anything. Nobody change anything.
My only worry is that cat.
That's all good.
I tried to keep him out, but he keeps pawing to hang out with us.
We've never had a cat on the show, so that's perfect.
And he's a big boy. His name is Bear.
Nice. Dude, Tyler, nice to meet you, man.
Well, great to get on with you guys and meet you finally.
Did you know that you can use AI to become a better hunter? Here's what you got to do. Our team at HuntXP has built a custom AI. We call it Crockett. And it is the combination of the power of AI and the collective wisdom of hunters for many years mashed up together and put right in your pocket, right in the field where you can level up your hunting game. You can ask it things like, what's the best broadhead setup for my situation? What's the best day to hunt this week? All sorts of questions. You can take pictures of the snake you almost stepped on in South Dakota and say, is this a rattlesnake? That's something that actually happened to us. It's super fun. Our community is having a great time building this. We'd love for you to join in at huntxp.com. Join us. Hey there. Thanks for watching this video. I'm JD, founder and crew member of the HuntXP team. We're so grateful that you took time to watch this video, and hopefully it's helping you level up your hunting game. That's what we and our community is all about, and we want to invite you into this growing community of hunters that's all about leveling up each other's hunting game. So the first thing you can do is like and subscribe, but even more than that, we got some fun things going on over at our website, huntxp.com. We'd love for you to join our community there and stay connected with what we're doing, what we're working on, and we'd love to hear about what you're after. So thank you for watching this video. We'll see you next time.